Oh.
Today we're reviewing Andy B's stuff that he's been telling us to for ages. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. It's the Andy B special. It's number 30. Greg's still not wearing a suit again.
Is it number 30? Shit. No, I said I'd save it for 100.
Okay.
I've put that can way down the road.
Imagine if you forget it then, and then it's like, I'll do it, episode 200.
How long ago did Andrew Branch recommend these?
Beginning of time.
I'm pretty sure it was like our 3rd or 4th ever CHUB Cast he first started commenting. So it's been a hot minute. We've been making him wait, but he's been patient. So yeah. So
we're even late with the episode, so we're just making him wait. We keep that extra 2 weeks as well.
We've been sick. There's been COVID. We're recording an album. We're fucking living life again and shit. You know, end of the day, like fucking CHUBcast. We're gonna. It's still a thing we want to keep doing, but it's not like consistent anymore. I don't think.
It was a pandemic project, and now life's back to normal. We want to keep it going because we like listening to new music, but we've got other stuff going on now. So
it's chill,
pretty much.
It's less like intense. Do you remember when we first started and we did like one episode a week?
That was during the first lockdown though, where we had nothing better to do. I was still at my parents' house. Like,
the podcast was so long ago. I was still with my ex-girlfriend. Like, that's how long ago it was.
Now it's like, oh, you've got a month to listen to these albums. Yeah, sure, mate. No problem.
And even still, Ben only finished listening to it just now. Yeah. It's always going to be last minute.
I listened to them today, to be fair, but before 8 o'clock.
I listened to half of them weeks ago and then forgot it entirely, and then listened to them again today.
I listened to them a few weeks ago, but then I actually did the Deer Hunter today.
What has happened this since we last did the podcast though is we've actually got a gig lined up. 23rd of October at Blue Bar in Eastbourne. We will be on at 10 o'clock, 45-minute set. Couldn't ask for anything better, really, could you?
No, that's pretty banging. Got all the fam coming. Even our mums are going to be there, fucking going mental.
My mum has got a CHUB shirt, and she is going to be at the front doing like the proud mum thing.
Well.
Oh, it's going to be like, I'm not going to allow it to be cringe, else because then it will be. I'm just going to be like, Mum, thanks for supporting me. I know you're because my mum, she tries to like embarrass me. She has admitted it. She does say, "You've got something on your cheek. Here, let me get that for you," like right in front of everyone. So she is just going to be like that, like mum at her son's gig, fucking fan. Oh,
doing the mum dance whilst people are in pit.
Oh yeah, dude. We should write a song about it. Call it Maximum Cringe. Hard as fuck.
Maximum cringeage. This week, are we going to start with? I've got Manchester Orchestra first. I think we should.
I also have that first.
That was
also the first one he recommended, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Damn.
So let's do Deer Hunter.
I have it written down first.
Oh, let's go.
I don't have it written.
So in that case, we're doing the Deer Hunter, yeah?
Yeah, makes sense.
It's also Manchester Orchestra is also alphabetically first. We can't not.
Yeah. All right, Manchester Orchestra. So Andrew Branch, do you want to explain a bit about this band?
Yeah, go on, mate. We just post this to YouTube. Stop it right there.
Yeah.
The next time we read out his comment.
Mate, do you remember like back in the day when YouTube videos had responses like in the sidebar and people could like directly reply to them? So, mate.
I just realized I don't know what do we say here?
So I gave it a little look. Literally my descriptor. I always write a little descriptor at the start before I even listen to the album. I have no idea what to expect of these guys at all. I know nothing. But then I looked up like all the lyrics for these, and it turns out like it sounds like it's a very personal album, and it's very much about his stuff that's happened in his life that he finds difficult and or weird. A lot of stuff about like his relationship with his wife, and looking forward to being a dad and things like that. Just typical things like relationships and romance and stuff. I'll go more into what the actual album name means once we get to that song. But yeah, it's very much like here we go. It's a story about a 23-year-old who questions everything from marriage to love to religion to sex. Sometimes even for myself, it's difficult to decipher which one I'm actually talking to. Everything I've written in the past has been about those things. This album is just the most realized form of my questioning.
Oh,
that's what he said about it.
What's his name? Manchester.
His name is Manchester Orchestra.
Manchester. His name is Manchester.
It's like a legitimate German name.
Manuel Chester.
I hope it's Chuck Tester.
That's the name of our second album. It's Manuel Chester.
Oh dear.
Anyway, no, second album's got to be called The Beer Hunter.
The Beer Hunter. Who wants to start? Go on, Greg.
Oh, go on, Greg. Yeah. Sounds like fucking your boy from Biffy Clyro, didn't he? That was my. I think we mentioned that before, like last time.
It's like an American Biffy Clyro.
Yeah.
So
instead of people on haggis.
American Newton Faulkner and American Biffy Clyro. I don't know what's happening, man. It's like the bloody American Office all over again. They're just rebooting all our stuff.
Yeah. Except the American Office is good.
Well, you know, like the original.
Oh, I mean, the original is also good, to be fair.
Oh, I thought you meant like.
No.
Oh, you're saying this isn't good then?
No, I'm saying this is good. Biffy, good. What?
Where are we?
This is because no, you are correct, Ed. No, wait. Yeah,
are you saying the Manchester Orchestra guy is not as good a Scottishman as Biffy guy?
I have not listened to much Biffy Clyro, and I think that this guy was really good. Actually, his voice was sick. He hit those fucking highs.
He hit some weird notes, didn't he? Like he is kind of. Whenever he had a big singy moment, in the similar way to Biffy, like he would kind of go and then not quite go to the high and go off down here somewhere.
Yeah.
In that. Slightly
subverted expectations. Yeah.
Yeah, but it made for a very interesting set of vocal tones.
It's a very diverse album in general. I feel like I've put in my notes that like. Dear all the way through to the song Simple Math. I like every song is very different. Like Pensacola comes in and it's like suddenly like kind of like a ska song.
Yeah.
And like Mighty is like it's like kind of like almost sludgy even. And then Dear is very country in a way.
I got Virgin gave me like Pink Floyd vibes of The Wall and stuff. Is that the song? The Wall? The kids singing?
Yeah. We built this house with our heads. Yeah. That's
it reminded me of Pink Floyd a bit. Did you guys watch the music videos for Virgin and Simple Math?
No.
They were really well made. Really good videos. Virgin had like kids in gas masks though, so I immediately got PTSD and cried in a corner.
No, Doctor Who, please.
Doctor Who, please. Are you me, ma? But
are you me, ma?
Are you me, ma?
It was so much less scary.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Bloody hell! The music videos are really well made, especially Simple Math. Like that music video, I was just watching it going, this is a sick concept, great song to go with it. It made you
What was the concept of the video?
It was kind of like what I took away from it was kind of like the butterfly effect, where like it starts out of a man in a car driving along and he swerves to narrowly avoid a deer, but he crashes anyway. And as he's crashing, it cuts back to him as a kid, like playing on the table with a car, and he spills over his milk. And therefore, I don't know why his dad then took him hunting so I'm assuming become more of a man because he spilt milk. But
So we have to go get more milk.
There's
now.
no
We're
use
gonna
Yeah.
crying over it.
Yeah, no use
I'm
crying
here to
over
teach
spilled
you
milk,
not to
probably
cry
that,
over
yeah.
it.
But then they go and shoot a deer, and it's kind of like if he didn't spill that milk and go shoot the deer, maybe the deer wouldn't have been in front of the car to like kill him later on in life. And it was just a really cool, like that moment is the reason why
Yeah.
the deer was there. It was quite a cool video. It was really well shot. And as these like crashing around in the car, there's like shots of the entire band in the car as well, just going and stuff with like all their instruments. It was sick. That's what I got from it.
Part of the new CHUB web now, with a video with a deer hunter, whilst we're also reviewing the next album, which is Deer Hunter.
Yeah. I put that in my notes. Like literally the first song on the Manchester Orchestra album is called Deer. Which is just like,
I didn't put two and two together. You're right. I feel like someone just said that and it went over my head. But
do we need to listen to all 5 Deer Hunter albums now and see if they reference Manchester at any point?
They're like best friends.
Yeah, in the video he shoots a deer and then we listen to Deer Hunter. Oh,
it's fucking crazy.
Andrew Branch is trying to create his own CHUB web, calling it now. He's playing us like puppets.
He's got his own branch of the CHUB web.
Nice.
I did it.
He did it. We can stop the stream. We can go home.
One thing I noticed about these guys is they're from Atlanta, Georgia, like your boys Mastodon.
Oh,
so
I wonder if they know each other.
I don't know. Maybe they do make kind of prog-ish stuff. That was one thing me and Ben were saying. Is like, what the fuck genre even is this? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that hit the nail on the head with them kind of being like Pink Floydy in the way that Pink Floyd are kind of prog as well, like soft prog rock. It was kind of had those elements.
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good description. Soft prog rock pretty much sums it up.
The latter half of the album is very ballady, like Simple Math through to Leaky Breaks. It's very ballady.
Yeah, I have to admit the last half of the album was slow, and Leaky Breaks was boring. But
I was playing it in the kitchen and Mel said that one was depressing. I didn't think so. But
the vibes I have to agree with Mel. Like the vibes in this album are depressing. I was sitting on the bed. I actually like listened to this album properly. I wrote down some notes. I sat on the bed and did nothing but listen to the album. Still don't really have many notes, but I'm not a music critique. Weird that we're making this podcast, but whatever.
Yeah,
and
should we get someone else?
Yeah, should I just leave? But it was just making me sad for some reason. Just listening to the album, I was sitting there like, this is really sad.
I think I'd call it more like contemplative than sad. Like,
the concept of the last 3 songs are really deep and fucking shit, basically. Like, Leave It Alone is about how he doesn't feel as strongly about his relationship with his wife anymore, but he doesn't think it's really like a bad thing. It's just like they're past like that really romantic part of their relationship and they're just comfortable now. But he still makes it very clear that like they'll never have that feeling for each other again. And it's like one of the lines from that I thought was really cool, which is singing songs of my healthiest fears, which is like, yeah, it makes sense pretty much. Like,
yeah. That's a great
Apprehension line. The song after Apprehension is about him and his wife had a miscarriage and it made him nearly stop being Christian because he was like, well, what the fuck, God? So and then Leaky Breaks is about he
taking his car in for an MOT and it failed. He had to spend 322 quid on a new fucking seatbelt. Greg,
it's about
sorry, I need to tell Greg this real quick and everyone from home. I took my car in to do its MOT last Monday, Greg.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying
it failed.
It was cost you a fuckload.
Yeah, well, it failed. It failed because the front driver's seat belt was frayed and I need a new seatbelt. Guess how much a brand new seatbelt costs?
I'm going for £200.
Higher.
What? 400.
322 quid.
You're fucking joking. What?
That's not
Piece
even
of
including like
fabric.
labor. So luckily my garage is awesome, and they called me up. They told me how much it was going to cost brand new from Ford, and they said just buy a secondhand one from eBay and we'll fit it for you. So I got one for 60 quid. But yeah, fuck that. So that's definitely what. Yeah. Leaky brakes, definitely about taking his car in for its MOT and it failing and having to.
Yeah. We need
spend
to
an
make
arm
a
and a
song
leg.
now called Frayed Seatbelt.
God. And it's just going to be a song saying "fuck you" to Ford. Just really niche.
Fuck you.
Oh, dear.
Yeah,
What's the song actually about?
it's about how he kind of reflected on his life and realized he'd been like a bit of a shit dad and partner, because like it's talking about like the leaky brakes bit is talking about when he was driving drunk through the snow with his wife and kid in the car, and he was like, why the fuck did I do that? And there's like this bit that he repeats like throughout the verse where like he keeps like busting into his wife's bedroom like absolutely hammered, just saying like, you don't love me as much as I love you and shit like that, and just talking absolute nonsense. And then like basically by the end of the song he's like realized what he's doing and he's like calmed it down and he's like, okay, I was dumb and I'm gonna try and be a better man for the women in my life and stuff like that, basically.
A very Christian man from the sounds of it.
Yeah.
What?
Oh yeah, he also said like basically like he realized he wasn't respecting his wife enough, and one of the lines I thought was really cool was, as if there's something worse than to have weaned away your worth. So like,
Ooh, that's nice.
yeah.
Hi. The alliteration.
Okay.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Is that alliteration,
It's
even
right.
though away is begin with an A? But the
worse to have
the
weaned
dominant
away your
word
worth.
the dominant letter is W still. Weed away your
alliteration.
worth.
I guess it would be like a half alliteration, kind of like a half rhyme.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Simple Maths songs about cheating.
I didn't get that from the music video.
The
I
chorus.
prefer Big Shaq's song "Simple Math."
I think I've heard that one.
Simple Math. What are you
My
gonna say, Ben?
favourites.
I said I really liked the
Ben, we can't
chorus.
see you.
What?
Your
Yeah,
camera's
you're
off,
Off?
Yeah.
unless you're holding up a black sign with the word Ben written on it.
And then you just
He's like, what?
Oh. Ben. Hey, there we go.
There it is.
I preferred it when we couldn't see
How long
you.
was it even?
Go ahead.
He's
It's
got the
black
sign back.
again. Oh,
Oh,
it's not a very nice sign.
Yeah, I really liked the chorus to Simple Math, because it was just like talking about math, and I really like math.
I like maths.
I like maths.
The truth cannot be fractioned. The truth is always true, and maths is always right. So you could try and argue that it's right or wrong, but it doesn't matter because it's always the same sort of thing. So it's basically a song about like, he knows that cheating's bad, but because of the stuff he was talking about where he doesn't have that like crazy spark with his wife anymore, he tries to like justify it to himself in his head, like, oh, I could just go and have some fling and some big crazy whirlwind romance with some random person. But then he's like, it doesn't matter how much I try and reason it out in my head, it's black and white, like always going to be wrong. And it's like, yeah.
I wonder how his wife feels about this album.
I know, he basically shits on her for the whole album. I was
she
like,
probably doesn't even know all this shit's going on in his head, and then she listens to the album and goes, it's like Marge writing that book about Homer.
She'll read it on Genius Lyrics and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He said, "What about my pussy?"
I thought he just liked math.
Just make a song called like Ragged Puss, like, and just make it very clear.
Like, no, honey, it's about stray cat. No.
Mewling monk.
What did you think, Ben?
I'm gonna throw a counterpoint to everyone. I thought that every song after Simple Math, really, like, apart from the first 3 songs of the album, which were a bit meh for me, the whole rest of the album was great. Actually, I really, really liked it. A lot of the really sort of slower ones towards the end were really reminiscent of like almost kind of like surfer rocky sort of bands that I like listening to, like Real Estate and stuff, especially the last song, Leaky Breaks. It had that really sort of, because it had a lot of orchestral bits and everything. It was slow, it was sort of mellow. Like, it's a lot of other stuff that like I like listened to before. And I gotta say, I think it's from like being brought up with my dad. Like, depressing music like just does not affect me at all. Like, I can literally listen to someone being like, I want to die, and I'll be like, this is a pretty good song.
I can see the artistry you're throwing down right now.
I want to die. I want to die. Should write that down, Ben. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
This is our new song called I Want to Die, I Want to Cry.
Growing up in a goth household, you know, you just that's that kind of depressing music does not affect you at all. Like, it definitely, yeah, it was beautiful. Like, listening to it the whole time. Like, I think I was just on my phone at the time, or whatever. But the whole like I gotta appreciate how good the actual like orchestra bits like behind the actual musicians were as well. Like, they had like so many like string, like I don't know, violinists. Is that what they're called? Or
Yeah, they had like a whole
Vinalists.
symphony.
they
Yeah,
had like exactly a whole orchestra, if you will.
Yeah.
I agree.
behind
I
it.
agree.
And that was beautiful.
Some of these songs like got carried by that orchestra behind it, and had it not been there, it would have been definitely of a way more average song. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it really elevates it, and it's like it takes so much more of a kind of vision to write a song like that, I think, where it's not just about having a catchy melody or whatever. It's like it's taking you on a whole journey with all these different instruments and parts. That's something I liked about both these albums had that as well, actually.
I was
Both
literally
of them
about to
very
say, like,
orchestrated.
one of my favorite bits was the fact that both albums, again, like, obviously this had more like slightly more of an orchestral kind of sound, but they both played really, really well. I guess because in a way they were both kind of proggy. They both played a lot on like harmonies and like, you know, obviously the instruments were carrying a lot of it, but the vocal harmonies and the backing singing and everything like elevated the emotion.
A lot of these songs had like, you could hear in the back a second voice, you know, like as though they were talking. They weren't necessarily singing; they were just like kind of like expressively talking. It was really cool. Ben, you're saying things that I agree with. Also, I wrote down, I don't know about Biffy Clyro because I've not really listened to them that much, but I thought this guy sounded like Mumford and Sons man sometimes as well.
Yeah, you know what? You make a really good point there, because I literally was going to say the style this band had almost in a way had some kind of folky elements to it, in my opinion, because you said the guy from Mumford and Sons. In my head, I had Turin Breaks that he kind of sounds, and the band kind of sounds like, and again, they're like a kind of like soft rock indie kind of folky band as well. So it's interesting that we kind of both came from a similar kind of singer, because it was like I think a lot of like folk music like lends towards those kind of really soulful higher range singers, and I think that definitely was in here somewhere. Not obviously like there wasn't any like twiddly dees or anything, but like I think
No,
the delivery
there wasn't any twiggly.
was
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ah,
does anyone have any more things they want to throw in?
I thought some of the lyrics in this were fucking weird. One of the first ones I noticed was on Dear. There's this part where he says, I'm hungry for scraps of dirty dirt. And it's like, okay, dude.
Yeah, we all been there.
I want some dirty dirt right now.
You just wake up in one of those moods.
Oh, I love that.
Fucking dirty dirt, bruv. Pensacola, there's that bit where it's like, my daughter, she never sleeps, she never eats and shit. And it's just like, bro, you need to look after your daughter a bit more. What the fuck are you doing? And he sings that bit for ages.
Give us some night owl and some porridge. What's going on?
Simple math. I want to rip your lips off in my mouth.
Oh,
Nice. Maybe he's talking about a kebab.
Do kebabs have lips?
Badly wrapped ones do.
vagina.
That's the joke.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, they do a lot of genre hopping. They had like ska bits. They had like April Fool was like super groovy at times. It starts off really like pop punk.
April Fool is my favorite song.
Yeah, I really
it's my bangers.
As well.
Yeah.
I think interestingly on Wikipedia, so take it with a pinch of salt. But their second subgenre they're listed as in Wikipedia is post-hardcore, which I'm like, okay, interesting.
That's not
Post. Very, very, very post.
Yeah, you know,
Post-hardcore.
they're so post-hardcore that I just didn't even like consider hardcore as a possibility of genre. What? Isn't like hardcore like Gallows and stuff?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
What?
Maybe post-hardcore literally just means anything except hardcore.
Post-hardcore is a punk rock genre that maintains the aggression and intensity of hardcore punk, but emphasizes a greater degree of creative expression, initially inspired by post-punk. So it's like basically more emotional hardcore, essentially. That's what post-hardcore is. Which maybe not in this album. I didn't really see that here, but maybe in some of their other albums.
This post shit's getting a bit out of hand. It's like the elections. What the fuck?
Alt post-core, mate.
Yeah. So this is more post than post-punk. So you got punk like fucking Sex Pistols, then you got Fontaines DC post-punk. Now you got this post-hardcore, which is just anything with an orchestra from Manchester. I don't what. No.
I mean, in fairness, post-punk's been around since the late 70s, but
it's been around since before punk.
Post-hardcore.
How is post-punk around before punk?
I was joking.
No, what did Ben just say?
No, that was pre-punk, proto-punk.
Proto-punk.
There's time traveling punk from the future, man. That all got started. The postist.
Maybe it's us.
Post.
Maybe we invent a time machine and go back in time.
We invented punk. Shit, man, you're right.
Fuck it out.
Fuck it out, man.
Maybe we'll be our own genre. Maybe we'll be post-metal. Where we're metal, but it's not really metal.
We'll just be post-post.
We'll be post-genre, undefinable.
Post-genre.
That's the most pretentious shit I've ever heard.
Can we say
what
that?
sort of music do you play? You can't, it's impossible to describe, man.
We're post-genre.
Can we say that in interviews? We're post-genre. If they don't see the sarcasm and irony in our voice, then that's on them.
Fucking hell, dude.
You really hear the post-genre in wasters. No one's ever written a song like that before.
Nobody.
Anyway, final thoughts. We got 7.5 minutes. I've got a time countdown. 7.5.
Shit.
Ah! I'll go. I really enjoyed this.
go on.
I didn't really like the latter half because, unlike Ben, I grew up in a house full of glam heads and thrash heads. So I get sad when I listen to sad music. And so the first half was really good. The latter half was really sad. 5 out of 10.
Ooh, all right. I felt the same way. I felt that it's more than the first half. It's like right the way up until Simple Math. I feel like the last 3 songs for me kind of just got a bit boring. Like Leave It Alone was like, I feel like they're all good songs individually. Like Leave It Alone has really cool, like sweeping guitars, really melancholy vibes and stuff. But yeah, the fact that they just ended the album with 3 sad songs in a row probably wasn't the play, in my opinion.
They needed at least like one fast song right at the end. I just don't like albums that end on a low because it just doesn't make sense to me personally. But
I guess it's an album about life and the reality of being a man and shit like that. So it makes sense. But yeah, overall,
it does make sense. Yeah.
Liked most of the album. I added most of it to my favorites. It was very diverse. I had no idea what the fuck to expect next. One of the things I saw in a review that I read about it that I thought was very apt was it sounds like they're a breath away from absolute fucking chaos and bittersweet crooning, which is pretty apt. You never really know what way they're going to take things. It's very soulful. The lyrics are like very real and from the heart, and you can tell that like it means a lot to him because he probably got in trouble with his wife for being a bit too straight up about his feelings and stuff. It's stuff that most people I think would be a bit afraid to talk about, let alone make a whole fucking album about. It's just about the average person's insecurities and things that you're afraid of. Of course, there's going to be more subdued, somber things because there's some things like that in life. And but yeah, dragged a bit towards the end, but otherwise really enjoyed it. I gave it a strong 7.
Oh, a strong 7.
Strong 7.
I just wanted to quickly like chime in and say one set real quick. The on Apple Music for at least it's A Black Mile to the Surface. It's the album he released in 2017. That entire album is on his top songs. So if you liked this, I haven't heard it obviously, but give that a listen as well.
What do you reckon, Andy?
At least on Apple Music, that is the album to listen to supposedly. But yeah, sorry, Greg.
Nice. That's right. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you guys have said. I wasn't really bothered by the end of it being more sort of somber and slow. The whole thing was a bit of an emotional roller coaster. Like, I appreciated that. There was enough rocky bits to satisfy that side of me, and then there was enough oh
no, we're losing him.
Bits to satisfy that craving as well. Oh no.
Am I back?
Hello?
You're back. Keep going.
Okay, shit. Yeah, it was good. I liked it. One comparison I forgot to make was right at the beginning. It reminded me of Alt J a lot. I don't know if you guys listen to a lot of Alt J, but it had
Alt
that
J,
Alt
J.
Yes. Oh wow, yeah.
high pitched, singy, sort of xylophony vibe right at the beginning with like
So the only Alt J song I've ever listened to is "Coming Down the Breeze Blocks."
That whole album. Hey, listen to that whole album. It's fucking great. Tessellate is a really good one.
That whole album.
Yeah, Fits Pleasure, good song.
It's so good.
Album trash. I don't know what they're doing. Like literally, they went in a totally different direction, and it sucks now. But yeah, listen to Awesome Wave. But yeah, I thought obviously a whole influences for this album, like lots of borrowing from other genres. I like the orchestra bits, and I wouldn't say there were that many like memorable bangers on the album for me. Like I probably won't listen to the whole thing again, but I definitely added a few Beautiful and Simple Math onto my playlist, and it was just a very enjoyable
Yes.
It was a very enjoyable experience.
Experience.
And I give it a.
Classic. God damn it.
No, I didn't hit the score.
Strong 7. Also.
Strong 7.
Oh,
All right. Oh,
Choice, Andrew.
yeah.
How long have I got?
2
minutes.
minutes.
Seconds.
15 seconds.
Okay, this album was it was emotional roller coaster, both emotionally, but also
Roller
coastery.
I really liked like Greg said, like everyone's pretty much pointed out, like the rocky kind of side and more towards the beginning, and then it kind of slowly went into like more of a posty kind of surfery kind of mood, and it was really good. I really liked that. It was very deep. The singer was really good. All the backing was good. The orchestra was amazing. I'll probably give this album and like their other albums another a listen to as well, because these guys sounded great. And yeah, as far as like proggy, rocky, indie, weirdy, not really much of a genre bands go, I really like this.
Nice.
Post-genre, yeah.
Post-genre.
And I too, just to shake the boat, will also give it a 7.6.
I'd say that's a strong 7.
That's a strong 7.
I'd say that's a mid.
That is a strong 7.
It's a mid 7.
That's a mid 7.
Yeah, I feel like you guys should listen to A Black Mile in the Surface. To the Surface, can't read.
Yeah,
And the artwork's like fucking. Is he hanging himself? Oh no, he's climbing the tree. Oh, okay.
He's like hanging.
It looked like he was hanging.
Tree.
Yeah,
I think he is hanging off of the tree.
Yeah, I thought he hung himself off the tree though.
He hasn't cheered up then.
Yeah.
Maybe his wife dumped him after this album. His wife was like, maybe. What the fuck?
Yeah, yeah, why? I'm out of here. I'm bringing the kids. Anyway. So, Andrew Brunch, take it away. What's the... Oh, what's that?
What's what?
Is that just me?
Simple man. What?
I think it might have been just me. I was just hearing like alien noises, but that's fine. They're probably here. Andrew Branch.
Yeah.
Take it away.
That was Andrew Branch turning up in his spaceship to give us an intro.
It's all like beep boop, dear hunters, beep boop. Don't know why it's alien robots, but it is now.
It's the supercomputer that wrote this album.
Oh fuck. Dear Hunter. Did anyone write an intro?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Hooray!
So the Deer Hunter, spelled DEAR, is a band that has embarked on most ridiculously ambitious projects, like straight out of the gate, of doing a 6-album epic concept saga, of which this is the 4th. I think their debut album was the first one, so they did one that like wasn't really that much to do with the concept, and then they're up to number 5 now, and number 6 comes out soon, I believe. So it's nearly finished. I'm sure I'll leave telling the whole story to you, Kyle, but it roughly, because I'm assuming that you know it.
I do know it,
around.
I'm not going to tell it.
It's basically about a kid who was born around the time of World War One, who has a whole fucked up Charles Dickens-esque life going on, and he goes to war and he comes back and there's prostitutes and all kinds of madness. And this portion of the story, I believe, is after he has come back from war, and he is running for mayor.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I'm not going to tell the whole story, because it would take up the whole 40 minutes we have allocated.
Yeah.
It's
I swear, most long form stories, they end up like running for mayor or at some point.
Yeah, it's like fucking Forrest, the Forrest Gump paradox.
Yeah.
but basically, yeah, that's what it is. He comes back from the war. He's pretending to be his long lost brother, who he found at the war. because he got kicked out of the city because some pimp who's also a priest basically rules the city and blackmailed him. He comes back. He decides to run for mayor because he thinks the priest doesn't know who he is. He's going to get rid of all the badness in the city. He gets consumed by his own greed and becomes a bit of a dick and manages to get himself really in the shit. And yeah, basically like throughout the series of the story, there's these like oracles who are like actual like sooths, like they can see the future. And like the first track of every album since the second one begins with the oracle saying, hey, you can stop doing this. You can just go back to your sweet life living in the woods and you don't have to have a fucking horrible life. And he's like, no, I'm all right. So yeah. So yeah, and he just keeps fucking things up for himself, basically.
I want an oracle that tells me to go back to live in the woods.
Yeah.
I don't want to live in Eastbourne anymore. I want to live in Abbotswood.
You
Have a
can
little
be that
cabin.
oracle for yourself. You just did it.
Ah, can't afford
You already
it.
know the true path.
Hey, we live in Britain. Woods are expensive. Is this guy American?
That's true.
He can buy a plot of land for some beans.
That's true.
Fucking beans.
Providence, RI. What's that?
Rhode Island.
Oh,
That's where Family Guy lives.
really?
Yeah.
I wonder if Family Guy will make an appearance in the Deer Hunter.
It's also
album.
where H.P. Lovecraft's from, Providence, Rhode Island.
Was it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway, I digress. One of the things I was going to say about this album was that I picked this because it's meant to be their best, like musically, but I had no fucking idea what was going on going into this blind. I was like, what is the concept? I don't know what the fuck is happening. And like the lyrics are kind of like riddly, and it reminded me, the concept sort of thing reminded me of Arion. Like we also were a bit like,
I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very Arion.
Yeah.
But I didn't find it ever got in the way with this album because I just accepted that I wasn't going to get it and I was just going to read it later.
Yeah, Arion, like I think we said at the time that they kind of like compromised the music to try and fit in the words and the dialogue to tell the story, whereas this doesn't do that. It leaves a lot more up to like the listener's interpretation. One other thing I was going to say before I pass it on to somebody else. Does anybody else get like really big like emo vibes at times from this? He sounded super Panic at the Disco at times.
Yeah. Panic at the Disco, for sure. There was a moment, the bittersweet 4 and 5 can wait. Oh, my screen's too short.
Yeah.
Congregation, the sermon in the silt is very Panic at the Disco. It reminded me of like tiptoeing around Scooby-Doo Land as well.
Congregation, the sermon in the silt.
I was saying that a lot of the time when we were listening to this, it really sounded like a Little Piece of Heaven by Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah, that was the one that I told Claire about. I told Claire to listen to this actually because I think she'd really like it. But
yeah, I mean, she likes Arion. That's what it strikes me as.
It also reminds me of Avantasia, which is very similar to this as well. Just this has got like a more like rocky indie voice, rock voice, not like indie voice. But whereas Arion is, well, Arion's got multiple vocalists, but Avantasia has got Tobias and Bjorn, not Bjorn, Carthus. Fuck, I'm tired.
Oh, Yorn Land. Yeah,
Yorn Land, that's it. As the vocalists. So it's quite cool. But anyway, we're not talking about that.
You're talking, Zach. What did you think of the album?
I mean, it's an hour and 15 minutes long.
That's one thing.
I didn't really like it that much.
That is.
But that's just because I don't particularly gel with prog that much. But I have to admit, there's a song on this album which was.
Did you like King of Swords?
Yeah,
King of Swords, because it's Royal Republic as fuck.
That's
what me
I
and
was
Ben
literally
said.
about to say King of Swords is one of my favorite songs that I've found recently. That is an absolute fucking banger. And I have played it on repeat since hearing it. It just came
That's
out of
the
nowhere.
best song on the album,
I like
yeah.
stopped the album at song number 10 to have dinner because it's so long. And then I was like, all right, back to listening to fucking Panic at the Disco Prog edition. And then King of Swords came on. I'm like, oh, wait, what?
Oh.
Have I like not been listening properly this whole time? But
Yeah, it's
and
definitely
that's-
another album that's all over the place in genre terms. Another post-genre album.
yeah, this is
For
definitely
sure.
post-genre. But like, obviously, I can appreciate it all. Music, all that shit. It's just not for me, which is annoying.
Yeah.
But I go for into these things with an open mind. It's just, I just get bored if there's no hook. But King of Swords had a hook, and it has a fucking awesome hook, and it's so catchy. Shame it still has that minute at the end of the whole song where it's just random crap for like a minute.
Ben said that, didn't you, Ben? You were like, why does it sound like in between every song it's like a old-timey cartoon or something?
Yeah.
They're like really trying to rub it in your face, like, it's set in the 19th century, by the way.
It just makes it shuffle unshuffle friendly. Even though King of Swords is going to be on, like that 1 minute of just random like bullshit at the end, it's like I'm personally thinking if that comes on in the car, I'm just going to have to skip that and potentially crash and die. Thanks for that, the Deer Hunter.
Make
You
a
did
fucking
this to me.
radio edit of your best songs. You bitch.
Yeah.
I also put it didn't really hit me as well. Like I got struck by the same vibe as I did by Closure in Moscow, where listening to it, I was like, I feel like I should like this a lot more than I do, because like it ticks all the boxes for me. Like it's all really well written. The orchestral parts are really cool. It's got lots of strings. It's very fancy and pretty. The vocals are good, but they're a little bit like whiny. But like it just never really got its hooks in me. I think it just never grabbed me, and I don't really know why. It just didn't have that little, that we've talked about before. And yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
It also reminded me of Closure in Moscow. I could not remember what band it was, but yeah. The whole time I was like, there's a band here that we've done in CHUBcast that is very similar to this, but I could not remember which one.
I feel like it was Closure in Moscow where Andy originally mentioned this band, actually. So
it probably was.
Quite possibly, yeah. I definitely see the comparison. I feel like Closure in Moscow are a bit more like high energy. Like that was my number one album of 2020, I think, the I Moscow one. And I definitely enjoyed that more than I did this. And I'm kind of the same with you, Carl. Like this definitely ticks all the boxes for me. And like I think maybe it's just that I was enjoying it in too many different ways. It was like a buffet there's too much choice. You can't have everything. So you end up enjoying it less than like one really good meal of just one thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess
I was trying to enjoy it on so many
there you go.
different
There's our
levels.
fucking food analogy of the episode. There's always got to be one. We almost made it through about one.
Greg stealing Ben's food analogy thunder.
Dare you?
What did you think, Ben?
Yeah, I kind of felt a little bit the same. Like the first thing I thought when the album came on was like I guess where it had that sort of like not the first song, not Rebirth, I think it was, but when it started to get into it a bit more, and it had like
The Old Haunt.
It had like more like slightly higher energy songs. I was like, oh, this is good in a way, but the vocal cadence like put me off a bit. Like I had PTSD of like emo bangers from back in the day, and like I don't know, man. Like
That's
the
best
a lot
kind of
people
PTSD.
Yeah, it's what?
That's the best kind of PTSD.
No, I don't know, man.
That never goes away.
It never leaves. It never leaves. So yeah, I was kind of that was a little bit off-putting, but apart from that, he sang really well. It kind of just made me like towards the beginning of the album, like before listening to some of the other wackier songs, I was like, this just makes me really want to listen to like Scurrilous by Protest the Hero kind of thing. Like I was just like, why? This is kind of proggy, but like, where's the metal? You know?
Where's the metal?
I'm like, that's the kind of
The
thing
thing
I was
is,
really missing. Like, I
of all of
understand
us, like you're the one who likes kind of more, because I thought this would be your kind of thing, because it's a bit more like indie. It's a bit more like, here's some pretty songs about life.
But like, I think like Greg was saying, like because it's like a buffet of like, it's like a big genre buffet, and because it takes little bits of everything, it doesn't necessarily feel that great with any of it, if I'm honest. Apart from that one random disco song that they had in there, which was their best song.
Yeah,
which is
King of
so
Swords.
That song's so
dumb.
fucking good.
Because I literally like when it came on, I just looked at Kyle and I was just like, "What the fuck, dude? Why is that so hard?" Like,
Send that over to Royal Republic. I want to hear them cover it.
yeah.
I want to know
Like,
where it fits in like the World War One concepts. Like at what point in the story does that
disco.
song happen?
So King of Swords, it's a tarot reference. King of Swords is a tarot card. That's why it's called King of Swords reversed. Because
Right.
the King of Swords traditionally means to do with putting yourself into a position of power and increasing your influence and authority. It's the part of the story where he is becoming mayor and he's doing all the shit. And I looked on Genius because you got to do
that. Explain the
Genius,
lyrics.
Yeah, exactly. So the singer explained it as basically like he imagines the song as like a montage in a movie of like him running for mayor and him going around like talking to the people and getting fancy clothes and doing like a "I'm gonna be a hero" sort of shit, you know. Like it's the like becoming the mayor montage basically of the album.
So this is the montage song.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the Pumping Iron Power song.
Flesh delights.
This is their version of Eye of the Tiger kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And it's King of Swords reversed because it's the opposite of finding authority. It's misusing your authority and misusing your power. So he becomes big and popular and famous, and then he ends up just, instead of cleansing the city of its corruption and stuff, he just fucks it up and becomes corrupt himself. So yeah, that's what it's about.
Great song though. Glad he did.
Yeah.
I'm glad he fucked up. This song is sick. I feel bad because I can't. This song was so good. I played it about 5 times since listening to it today, that I cannot remember any of the other songs. I'm like, this is a disco album, right?
That's the
I'm
thing.
pretty
That
sure
kind of
this is
lends to,
disco.
that lends to like the main criticism of the album for me is where like if the genres that you're all going for, if they're so mix match and like a bit, I mean, not like ridiculously mix match, like for the most part it's like indie, post indie kind of proggy, like fucking
evil villain Disney
genre. Yeah, like it's kind of hard.
It reminded me of fucking Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that in places.
The atmosphere was very like ragtime dandies at times and stuff.
It's just like the weird like dun 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 like bits they keep adding in, and I'm just like
Scooby-Doo tiptoe music.
It's great if you're putting this in like Cuphead or something, but like outside of that, I'm just like, oh, it's just a bit cheesy, really. It's a bit cheesy. But yeah, no, I don't know. Like, yeah, it was just a bit all over the place, I think. And I suppose for a prog album, that's great, but for me, it just
the all over the placeness probably lends to the fact that it is the fourth one. I bet if you listen to all six, well, when it comes out, the whole thing in one go, and really pay attention to everything, it would all just click. But maybe because we're jumping in, it feels a bit all over the place.
Yeah, but from what I've been told, like the first album is like, I mean, obviously it's the first album they've released, so it's not nearly as well produced. They don't have all the orchestration and all that stuff. He said as well that like the sixth album, they're delaying it because the fifth album, the Chapter 5 came out in 2016, so it's 5 years ago. And he's basically said like, you're going to have to wait a bit longer for Chapter 6, and it's not going to be a rock album because like, how am I supposed to follow up everything if it just sounds like the other ones? It's like the finale of this story I've been telling since like, I think 2004 was the first chapter. So it's like, you know, he's like, I want it to go out of a bang and I don't want it to just sound like one of the other albums kind of thing. So yeah.
Disco. Go full disco.
just make a whole album of King of Swords. Yeah. Even though it's literally about this guy dying in misery. So
right. Just make it's a disco album.
Yeah, fuck the concept, man. Work around it.
Yeah. Hell is a disco. Like it's just his journey going through hell. It's like fucking what's that fucking story of that guy that goes through like the 9 realms of hell?
What, Dante and Virgil, Divine Comedy?
Like Dante's Inferno, but like
Dante's Disco Inferno.
Dante's Disco Inferno. Sounds to me
fucking amazing. That we need to make a concept album.
Dante's Disco Inferno. Sounds to me like he's in his own personal hell. It sounds to me that he is overthinking it so much that it's technically put himself in his own personal hell. If he hasn't released it in 5 years, then he must be sitting on it just going, it's not good enough, it's not good enough, it's not good enough. And how do you fucking end something you've been working on for nearly 2 decades? Must be tough.
Yeah.
That was shit. He knows it's shit. He needs to redo it.
This has put me off of ever trying to do any kind of like overarching concept thing. Like it's such a pain in the ass.
I mean, this is always so the worry of
there's always the worry of actually finishing it. Like I can't. Stephen King had a book series. I can't remember which one it was, but I think it's like something to do with a tower.
The Dark Tower. Yeah.
Dark Tower. So it was something to do with a tower. So he got in a car crash before he finished that, and he like as soon as he got out of hospital, he just went straight home and finished the book series because he was like, if I fucking die before I finish this, fuck's sake, what? Screw that. Kind of like Game of Thrones with George R. R. Martin, like stop faffing about. So
the guy like Wheel of Time, another really famous fantasy series, the author died before the last book came out, so he had to just say, if I die, this guy can write the book for me. It's just like, okay.
Like that's also the worry is if you go for this long form storytelling, you got to look after yourself as well.
Your own mental health must be like impacted by doing some such. Greg was right. Like this is really, really ambitious. Like the whole project is like it's not just, you're not doing a concept album, you're doing a concept career, really.
Series of albums.
And it's kind of that's big, you know. So like to be fair, even though like there's been a lot of like criticism of the album and stuff that we've lent today, I think it's fair to say that, you know, it's pretty impressive. Like the scale is pretty fucking impressive. Like I can like for sure. So like they're talented people and he's a talented guy and they're talented musicians and everything. I think musically though that it like just doesn't gel completely with me, but that's okay. It's not for everyone. Although saying that, at least the takeaway for me for sure is that if they ever do decide to go for disco with that Disco Inferno, copyright Chub, then yeah, that's then go that direction, because that song King of Swords Reverse fucking slapped on this album.
I actually did have an idea for a song, and it was a disco song called the Reflection Sphere. The Reflection Sphere. And it's just a really abstract, like it's a disco song. You never mention it. It sounds like, oh, bow down to the reflection sphere. And it's just about a disco ball.
The shiny sphere. Well, we've got to do Dante's Disco Inferno now. Even if we make a song called that and it's not disco at all.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'd be able to pull off disco.
Come on, man. I
I
bet you
mean,
could.
you could do Royal Republic.
Yeah, I can sing as well as them easy.
Whilst we're still on topic, though, what I was going to say, and I'm going to kind of poo-poo it a little bit at the moment. Craig, did you read the whole story? Oh, of course he lags now. Fuck's sake.
Hello, it's me, Greg. Yes, No, I didn't, Kyle. What were you about to say?
I was going to say, I read the whole story and I was like, basically, like, I read the whole thing and I was like, this isn't very unique or gripping. And probably because I read like a synopsis, Greg's just purely frozen. I was like, probably
looking at his face, like.
I read like a synopsis, like an overview of the. Oh, you're back, Greg.
I think so.
Hello. I was saying, did you read the whole story?
I skimmed it.
Yeah. So for me, like, it's not that interesting or unique, really. And maybe that's because I read the synopsis and it's like, obviously it's not meant to be read as like a written story. It's meant to be experienced through listening to the songs and taking your interpretation from the lyrics and stuff. And it's a lot more like cryptic and metaphorical. But reading the actual story, I was like,
10 minutes left.
Somebody who's like, let's make an album or a story over the course of 2 decades and 6 albums. You'd go out of your way to make it more than like, here's a boy who grew up the son of a prostitute who's cursed and the priest's bad and now he went to war.
Do you know what though? I actually think that is a strong point rather than a flaw, because the other option is Arion, basically, because if you make it too complicated, then it needs explaining and what's the word?
Exposition.
Yeah, it needs exposition, and I think they made the right choice in allowing the songs and the lyrics to speak for themselves and leaving more up to interpretation, because then it does mean that you don't have to constantly be going back to the plot to remind people of like what's happening. It doesn't really matter what's happening because the story overall is quite simple. But yeah, I guess it's like more important the detail in each song, and like you say, experiencing it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of like Metroid Dread in a way, where the story is not important, it's about the journey.
The story's told through like 3 or 4 cutscenes with like hardly any dialogue for the whole game, which I really enjoy. But that's basically getting back to what I was saying, like in that case, like, and in general, I really like storytelling in games where it's not just here's a cutscene of a guy talking at you for like fucking 5 minutes or something. And, like, I prefer when it's told like through the gameplay. And like that's why like you're making a game, you might as well use the medium of the game to tell the story. Here, like you're using a song, you should use the medium of the song to tell a story. And I think it's hard to really grasp the actual message and like the gravity of it all without actually listening and like, you know, taking in the atmosphere of the music and the metaphors and the language that they use to convey it, rather than just some synopsis I read on like Wikipedia.
You could also like do it without lyrics, obviously, can you? Like if the song's sad, got a sad moment, just have a sad melody, and then that's so you know it kind of, you know, what is going through the character's head at that point, even without saying anything, kind of like with like close-ups in film or something. You don't need to say anything, you just need a close-up.
It's like every movie ever, it's like if you got rid of the like sad piano, none of those scenes would hit nearly as hard. This is Ben conveying his emotion for a close-up.
The medium of film.
So your eyes literally pointed different directions.
It's like a picture I took the other day, and it was exactly that. My eyes were just going like "Ah!" somehow, and I'm like, how did they do that?
How you
Alright,
do
well,
that though?
We got 6.5 minutes. Final thoughts. Go,
Fuck.
What
Ben.
was that?
Oh
let's
fuck!
go.
I was talking last. Okay, so yeah, it was kind of. Oh, this is kind of a weird album. The guy's voice was kind of emo-y, and that sort of was a bit grating, but at times it really fit the theme of the band, I guess. It was pretty proggy. I liked, in all fairness, like I didn't like hate the story. I thought it was like relatively interesting. Like a bit of like a almost like it was grounded in reality, but it kind of had fantasy-esque kind of vibes with like things like oracles and priests and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, kind of could work, but it wasn't that great. You know, the execution was like flopped a bit, but well, whatever. The actual music, though, like obviously the singer was great. The musicianship was pretty good at parts, but like for the most part, I don't know, nothing really grabbed me like fully, and it was just a bit like. It didn't leave a bad taste in my mouth or anything, but like I genuinely can't really think of any songs like off the top of my head realistically that were like really stand out-ish on the album. I think the middle
Can
two,
you not?
a part 1 and part 2 sort of thing was that it's the
So
one
the
that you read out,
bittersweet
Zach.
one.
Oh, the
Had the-
bittersweet 4 and
Yeah,
5.
yeah. That was it. Yeah, those two were pretty good. I think they had a lot more like guitar fiddly bits, which were quite good. But like, yeah, for the most part, it was just pretty forgettable. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10.
Ooh.
Carl, you
Well,
spoke.
You made a noise.
I made a sound. So yeah, I feel the same way. They did some cool stuff here. The atmosphere was cool. It was very pretty, especially the first like few songs. There was some nice grooves and stuff. But yeah, also like it sounds kind of like they've got like emo-ish, they used Panic at the Disco vocals, but then they've also got like big soaring beats. And this album had a lot of like a lot of ahs, and it was very like Coldplay in a way in a lot of places. A lot of like sort of like pop rock sort of stuff. I said I thought this would have been much better if it had female vocals. I thought female like soulful vocals would have absolutely slapped on this kind of stuff.
That's the same, actually.
Yeah, I
But
can see that.
they went with the guy who sings it is the guy who writes like everything, so that's why he sings it. But yeah, again, like I feel like I should like it more than I do, but it just never really hit me hard. Is There Anybody Here was really good. It had some really nice grooves and stuff on it. King of Swords is an absolute banger, but it's not like anything else on the album. I feel like I need to go out of my way to listen to some more of their stuff to really experience the story through the methods that they wanted us to. And yeah, the strings, the atmosphere, the vocals, all very good. But it just was a bit meh to me. So I'll give it like a 5, like a straight down the middle 5. There's nothing wrong with it, but it didn't really do anything for me either.
Fair. Okay. I think I probably enjoyed it a bit more. Like I definitely, similar way to Manchester Orchestra, I enjoyed it all the way throughout. Different songs for different reasons, but like there weren't that many like peaks of enjoyment for me. It was just like a kind of flat level of enjoyment, apart from like King of Swords was awesome. My other favorite songs probably, I like The Old Horn. I thought Waves was really good, and I also enjoyed It All Goes Well. That was cool. Yeah, lots to appreciate. It was a bit long. But yeah, overall I did really enjoy it. But I would only really go back and listen to like those 4 songs again. Probably I wouldn't listen to like a lot of the other ones. My favorite Deer Hunter song, I don't know which album it's off, but they have a song called Go Get Your Gun, which is an absolute bop and you should listen to it. But yeah, I'm gonna give it like a 6.5. I enjoyed it, but it had some flaws.
Nice.
Nice. Go, Zach.
Well, as far as prog goes, I didn't particularly gel with it, apart from that one sick disco song. So, Mr. Deer Hunter, if you're listening to this, write a disco album because you can obviously write a disco song. So I want more, please, more of that. I'm just so bad at like keeping attention with music. That's why I listened to the music videos for like 2 of the songs in the last album, and because they were slower songs as well. So I bet you anything I wouldn't have appreciated them as much had there not been music videos to go accompany them. That's just me. I was gonna give it like a 3, but Kings of Swords so good and bumped out to a 5. 5 out of 10. Two points. That one song. If this was a single, would be a 10 out of 10. But it's not, it's the whole album. So
Nice
yeah.
one, boys.
Very good.
Cheers for your suggestions, Andrew. I'm sorry
Yeah.
that we didn't really
thanks,
love
dude.
them, but we're honest boys here, mate. We're honest
Yeah.
boys, and there's stuff
keep 'em
that we
coming.
like that you won't like either. But yeah,
He
feel
has
free to
said in the
suggest some
comments
stuff.
before that that's why he appreciates us, because we are honest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Give us your worst albums and we'll trash them.
ah,
Oh, and we'll love them just to be contrarian. Even more.
yeah, we just love them.
I've got the
Comments,
so
comments, Kyle.
I will commence the comments. So we had ones from Benjamin's mummy on an old one on the Fuck Buttons podcast we did, episode 23.
The worst of
A
all
while
time,
ago.
the Woat episode.
The fucking woat.
What?
She
When did that
said-
episode come out?
It's episode 23, so 2 months ago. Well, she commented 2 months ago, actually. Fuck. So it's even
Yeah.
longer.
Wow.
But she said, I was 8 months pregnant when we went to see My Bloody Valentine. I had to leave for a few minutes because Ben was spinning in my womb. So he was brought into the world with noise music.
Very true.
Yes.
She says, I can only actually listen to Fuck Buttons for a short stints of it, but his dad listens to them too. So,
There you
there
go.
you go.
From the
Does
horse's
your dad
mouth.
actually listen? I don't get it.
Your
Yeah,
whole
I'm a
family's
boomer,
fucked,
this.
mate.
I am a boomer. I'm a boomer when it comes to fuck buttons. I don't get it. It's fucking.
It's just noise.
Hmm.
It's just noise music, man. It just does something to your brain, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
I just take drugs, dude.
sadness.
I guess that's why I don't take any drugs. I don't need to. I just listen to vibrations, and my brain just goes. Bleh.
Just ascend.
Yeah.
Ah!
I'm sorry you guys can't ascend to a higher plane just from listening to music. That's what.
Nah.
That's whatever.
Nah, you're just fishing for hipster points, man. I still think.
Yeah.
that. You're like. "Ooh, I'm a
Even my
hipster.
mum
Ooh,
comes to my
give me a brew
defense.
dog."
You're like, nah. I don't believe you. You set her
Your
up.
mum's just a hipster too.
Yeah, my mum's trying to be a hipster as well. I mean,
sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say these guys like fuck buttons are a lot more experimental than My Bloody Valentine. Like My Bloody Valentine is super accessible anyway. Like even as far as noise rock goes. So it's definitely it's a shoegaze band, so it's something worth keeping in mind. Maybe for an episode of CHUBcast.
Oh yeah, I'll let you do that one, mate.
Yeah.
We got a comment on our Yellow Jacket reaction, which if you guys haven't watched it, give it a go. And if you haven't listened to that Spirit Box album, fucking do it because it slaps. It's so good. It's probably my album of the year.
Really good.
Spoilers.
Oh, spoilers for when we do the one in December again.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, got that.
Fucking hell, it's not that far away. This guy says, Yellow Jacket was his name's Cole. Yellow Jacket was a bold and risky song. I like how much Sam was in it. That's Sam Carter from Architects. If you're going to have guest vocals, especially a high-profile vocalist like Sam, just use them. Put them in the chorus, make them part of the song's identity, and commit to making the feature feel worthwhile. Don't make them suffer or Crown the Empire or the Acacia Strain. Don't remember Courtney doing guest vocals for them. Nobody does. She was in it so little that having her on the track meant nothing. These bands all do the same thing. Throw one pity verse at them and say, do your girl metal vocal growl thing, clown and fuck off sort of thing. Which is like, I agree with that, to be honest, because a lot of the time it feels like the feature might as not be there. Sometimes it feels like they're just doing it just to have featuring this person in the song title.
To me, that sounded super fucking condescending. Like no offense to the commenter, like we obviously want your feedback, but that sounded really shallow to me. Because like I really like Courtney's verse in that Make Them Suffer song. It really adds to it, like, because her vocal delivery is so like is so like cutting and different to the main guys, like kind of Australian-y sort of sounding scream, that it adds like another layer to the whole song. I think what we were saying in the review was like the reason why, like, obviously, yeah, you Sam in the song, that's absolutely fine, because if they're part of the song, be part of the song. What I was saying was I wish she was also in the chorus at the same time as him, and they were like doing like either different bits or like singing / screaming at the same time, like harmonizing. I felt like it was pretty much just mainly an Architect song, right? Like rather than like an Architect.
Well, no, she's in a lot of it. Like that latter part of the song, that "Where Was Your Grace," when I was asking for it. They're both singing that bit. They're both harmonizing on that. So I don't know. I think it's a really cool feature. I feel like he added a shitload to that song.
Yeah, it's a good song. It is a really good song. Like, yeah, I don't know. I want to do a little bit more, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Ooh, a little bit more.
I have no opinion. I haven't heard this song.
Listen to it. It's really fucking good.
Really good.
And of course, your boy Andy, he commented on the last CHUBcast saying, "Well, I'll be damned." Here you go, mate.
Here we are.
All that hard work paid off. We listened to your albums and we kind of we didn't think that much.
That's not true. Manchester Orchestra
Manchester Orchestra is really good.
Pretty positive reception.
Yeah, 7's all round. That's really good score.
That's an above average. But yeah, otherwise, I don't think we've really got any super cool comments. We got a lot of comments on that Ginger video. We're still getting comments from angry people on that, which makes me laugh.
I think you should read a few of them out.
Oh god, let me find some that are really funny ones.
What was that one? This was painful to watch, and I don't mean the music video.
Yeah, I don't mean the Ginger video.
Good one.
And then the next guy said the exact same thing.
You guys are like 14-year-olds. Just say that this is too complicated for you.
It was. I will happily say that.
It wasn't too complicated for me. It was just a mess. It was just a mess.
Yeah. A mess is another word. Could be another word for complicated. It's just a mess. Complicated. You know, like.
Nice like to dislike.
It did not help that we had James with us, to be fair.
Yeah.
So I can tell as soon as you put that song on, he was just sitting there going, "Why am I here? What?"
Oh man. This nice like to dislike ratio. You guys must have smashed it. Yeah, dude. We basically just upset some Ginger fans by not liking everything that they did. It just makes me laugh.
It's just funny because you're a massive
Do not listen
Ginger
to
fan.
the album.
You literally introduced me to Ginger. Like,
do not listen to the album. You will hate it. I love it and Ginger, but this is not a band for you. Just walk away and stop reacting to a band you clearly do not like. It's like, no, dude, we listen to them because I like them. Are you dumb?
It's so funny because people genuinely think that like if you like something, you can't criticize it at all, which is literally the opposite. If you love something, you have more of a reason to criticize it. Like I fucking love, like, a good example was Employed to Serve, and some of their new singles have been fucking trash, but that's because, in my opinion, a lot of their stuff that they've brought out has been fucking amazing in comparison. So I think it's only fair to, if you're a true fan of something, if you think that it deviates a lot from what you love previously from the band, and you've got more of a say to say something shit rather than just being like, like it's dumb.
Didn't you choose Ginger on CHUBcast, or Kyle?
Teacher. I did Teacher. The very first CHUBcast we ever did. It was the first single we ever did.
We first started doing singles, right?
Yeah. It was. So that goes to show how much I like Ginger. All of their other previous singles are fucking amazing. And then we did Mediator for that one and got a lot of hate for it. And then I've just uploaded today, me and Ben's reaction to Wallflower and Disclosure, and we didn't like Wallflower either. We didn't like it either. There was like this one lyric, like it's like it was like my life's on lockdown. I've got to go home. My batteries are low, or something. It's just like, oh, it was just like really cheesy. Oh, the other one, it was your mind is as shallow as a puddle on a warm day, or something like that. Yeah, it was.
Shit.
Oh, it was bad.
Oh,
like the
nice.
music's really good, but the lyrics were just poor. Like on. Anyway, that's spoilers. Go watch the reaction. Yeah, should we move on from this negativity? Should we pick some albums for next time?
Yes. I just wanted
Well,
to
we
hear
gotta
some of
roll
the
the dice.
negative
You're rolling
comments.
dice.
Who wants to roll? I'm not doing it. Go on, Kyle.
Why the fuck I have like an actual
Yeah, I
bag
just
of
wanted
dice.
to I just wanted to hear some of those comments. I'll be honest, I have not read any of the comments, and I noticed like a bad way to look at it, because if you're putting yourself out there on the internet, I've been doing it for years, but it's always the comments that fat shame me that stick in my mind, does my head in, and that's why I didn't look at any of those comments, because I was like, I don't want to be fat shamed.
No, none of them do that.
Mate, don't tell
They're
them
all
that,
just-
because now they'll just do it more.
Well, I mean, I've got like a video of me with my top off, like talking about
yeah,
weight
let's
loss
do it.
on my Meat and Metal channel. And I just thought, if anyone fat shames me on this video, then they look like right cunts. So that's why I put myself out there like that. But when it's a video like that, nothing to do, it just puts me off. Like, oh, nah, not for me. Not for me.
I have a D4.
Oh,
Ooh.
I don't know if you guys can see, like, fucking hell. at
Sorry, we
all.
trust you.
we trust you, Kyle.
Okay. Okay.
Pick
Wait,
the
wait,
numbers,
so-
Kyle.
Zach's 1, I'm 2, Greg's 3, and Ben's 4.
Let's go.
Okay.
It's a 1.
Ooh.
It's
Me.
a 1. It's Zach.
Okay.
Right.
I'm picking
And
it
then,
out.
Come on, you three.
It's 4. It's Ben.
Oh,
Zach
Okay.
and Ben. And then me and Greg are doing singles.
Nice.
Right.
And then guys know what
Ben,
you're
do you want to
doing?
go first?
no, I think you should go first. I've already got one in my head.
Well, then go first.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna set the tone. I'm gonna set the tone then. In that case, I personally really love this album, and I love watching all my friends suffer because it's hilarious.
Oh, fuck me.
So, but again, it's kind of a bit of a cringy band. So I'd love to see hilarious reactions. But I really love this album. It reminds me of my childhood. So we are going to review Parachutes by Coldplay, the first Coldplay album.
Ooh.
I know I definitely have, but I have never listened to a Coldplay song.
Oh, it's the one with yellow on it. Hey, let's
It's the
go.
one
Oh, yellow.
Yellow, my favorite colors. Yeah, I don't know that song.
My
favorite
color is yellow.
Okay, so we got fucking Coldplay. What's it called? Yellow
Parachute.
The album's called Parachutes.
Parachutes. Right, sick.
That's
Can't
the
wait,
choice.
Ben. Nice one. All right. Well, I'm gonna go fucking complete 180, and I'm gonna pick. Oh my god! One sec. Oh shit! I'm gonna pick. Fuck's sake! There's just too many. Now we're doing it once a month. I'm like, I need to like make sure it counts. Oh god. Well, I've been saying I'm gonna do it for a while. I'm gonna pick "Bringer of Pain" by Battle Beast.
Oh. I've been meaning to listen to them.
They are awesome. IMO, and obviously, lady from Battle Beast is Kale in Pentakill. Her voice is sick.
The album cover is already looking promising.
It's different vibes to Coldplay, that's for sure.
Please, whatever you boys do, do not listen to these albums back to back because you'll just. Be
I'm gonna. Coldplay's gonna put me in a coma, and then this will be the defibrillator that just shocks me back to life.
Oh, all right. What singles we listening to then?
Alrighty. I'll do mine because I've picked it already. I'm gonna keep it weird. I'm gonna go for some electro swing with possibly the greatest rapper of all time on top, your boy Charlie D. This is by a group called Dirty Moonshine, and it's called Scruffy.
Dirty Moonshine, Scruffy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is going to be a very diverse episode. Kyle Waboo.
Kyle Waboo. That's my uwu name. Sorry, is it Dirty Vibes?
Dirty Moonshine.
Dirty Moonshine.
Scruffy.
Scruffy. Okay, so my single that I've totally just chosen right now because I didn't prepare those. I've somehow lost my list of singles that I've compiled over this time. So I've done goofed. I'm going to do a song that I've been listening to a lot recently, and I forgot it's really good. And every time it comes on, I'm like, fuck, this song slaps. And it's Cult of Personality by Living Colour.
Oh,
Bob.
Yeah,
such a good
mate, you've
song.
definitely heard it. It's so fucking good. I've never
It's on
listened to
Guitar Hero
anything else
3.
by it. Yeah, that's how I found it.
Brass
I've
Against
never listened to anything else by Living Colour. I should, because Cult of Personality is a fucking stone cold classic.
That is a great song.
It's already a thumbs up from everyone, I think.
I mean, you don't know my opinion.
There's no way you don't like this song, Craig.
All right. Well, there you go. We got albums: Coldplay, Parachutes, Battle Beast, Bringer of Pain, and the singles are Dirty Moonshine, Scruffy, and Living Colours, Cult of Personality. Leave your comments in the comment section below, your little reviews of the album. We'll read them out next episode, or send your reviews to chubtheband@gmail.com, or use the hashtag CHUBview on our socials, all of that in the description. And if this podcast gives you a chub,
we need
oh yeah, we'll read out hate comments unless it's fat shaming. And if this podcast gave you a chub,
Like and subscribe.